Alright, let's go. NASCAR predictions. Is it that time of the year already? Indeed it is. In this video, I will do like I did last year, and I will make my predictions for the 2021 NASCAR season. This is a season that is probably the most hyped up season in a long time, and a lot can possibly happen this season as well. I will do 21 predictions for the 2021 season. Without further ado, let's get started. We'll start with a bold prediction for prediction number 1. Chevrolet will win the manufacturer's title for the first time in a while. Toyota and Ford have pretty much been dominating the show, but I think Chevrolet is back. With Chase Elliott winning the championship, and I'm feeling pretty good about the Hendrick camp as well. RCR is starting to look good. Hopefully Ganassi can show some good runs. I think Chevrolet is going to be in a lot of contention this season.
Those are the facts, dude.
Prediction number 2, and this one will be my Speedweeks predictions. I've pretty much thrown everything of Speedweeks into one prediction. I predict the Clash winner will be Chase Elliott. Not to mention, he just came off running the Rolex 24 at Daytona. I think he's a favorite. He's pretty much today's version of Jeff Gordon on road courses. I predict for the Daytona 500 Pole Award, I predict that Alex Bowman will get the pole award. Hendrick is always fast in Daytona 500 qualifying. As for the Daytona truck race, I predict that Zane Smith will win that race. And the Daytona Xfinity winner, I have AJ Allmendinger winning that race. Colleague Racing has been very strong on super speedways lately. And for the Daytona 500, I predict that Denny Hamlin will get his 3rd in a row. He has clearly been a dominant force on super speedways. He's always there in the running to win a race. So I think Denny Hamlin will become the first driver to win 3 straight Daytona 500s.
It's Denny time.
Prediction number 3, first career wins across all 3 series. So for this one, I'll just pretty much say what drivers I think will get their first career wins from the Cup Series, Xfinity Series, and Camping World Truck Series. In the Cup Series, Chase Briscoe, Bubba Wallace, Christopher Bell, and or Matt DiBenedetto. Of those 4 drivers, I predict at least 1 or 2 of these drivers will get their first Cup win in 2021. In the NASCAR Xfinity Series, I predict that Daniel Hemrick will finally get that first Xfinity win, as well as Jeb Burton, and I can see Ryan Sieg pulling off a win this season as well. As for the Truck Series, I predict that Chandler Smith will get his first win in 2021. Prediction number 4. Who gets the most wins? I think there will be bigger varieties of winners with all the new tracks this season, so I think maybe in the Cup Series you'll see someone get about 5 or 6 wins, and I predict in the Cup Series, Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin will get the most wins. As for the Xfinity Series, I think Austin Cindric will go on a tear once again, and he'll win a lot of races, similar to what Chase Briscoe did last season. And in the Truck Series, I think Sheldon Creed will also pick up where he left off, and I think John Hunter Nemechek is going to come close as well. Prediction number 5. My first 2022 silly season prediction. I predict that Ryan Newman will retire at the end of 2021. I do have a feeling that the writing is on the wall, especially after his horrible crash at the end of the Daytona 500 last season. As for a bonus, I predict that Matt DiBenedetto will end up replacing him. Now watch, after Newman retires, Roush will probably go back down to 1 car. Prediction number 6. I'm predicting the winners of all the new tracks for all 3 series. So this one's going to be a lengthy one, but it's still a fun one with all the new tracks being on the schedule. In the Cup Series, I predict Christopher Bell will win the Bristol Dirt Race, and it will be his first career win. As for Circuit of the Americas, I predict that race will have a little bit of a surprise. I think Kurt Busch will pull off the win in that one. Nashville, I predict Kyle Busch will win that race, and hopefully he doesn't smash the guitar. Road America and the Indy Road Course, I have Chase Elliott winning both of those races. As for the Xfinity Series, Circuit of the Americas, and Nashville, I have Austin Cindric winning both of those races. Except if Nashville has Kyle Busch in it, which I think that might have been confirmed, I predict Kyle Busch wins that race. As for the Truck Series, I predict Matt Crafton will win the Bristol Dirt Race. At Circuit of the Americas, I predict that John Hunter Nemechek will win that race. As for Nashville, I have Kyle Busch penciled in, but if he does not run that race, then I will have Sheldon Creed listed as my winner. As for Knoxville, I predict Grant Enfinger will win that race. And at Watkins Glen, I predict Sheldon Creed will win that race. Prediction number 7. Alex Bowman will win at least 2 races in 2021 in the number 48. Also keep in mind, this is a 1-year extension on his contract, so he's in a contract year. He's going to have to make a lot happen. Sponsorship is no longer a concern thanks to Ally, but Bowman, he definitely has to get rolling this season, and I think he will. Prediction number 8. Between the 3 new Cup teams, I think it's safe to say that 2311 Racing will perform the best of the 3. I also think Bubba Wallace has a shot at making the playoffs as well. Prediction number 9. Kyle Larson will only get 1 win this season. The reason I say that is because, keep in mind, he only ran the first 4 races of the season last year, and he's yet to run races under the current COVID-19 format where there's no practice and no qualifying. So I think that might be a little bit of a concern for Larson. I think he's going to have a slow start, but in the second half of the season, I think he'll pick it up and he'll get a win. Who knows? I could be wrong. Maybe he comes out and sets the world on fire, but as of right now, I just don't see that happening. I still think he'll do well. I still think he makes the playoffs. Prediction number 10, the Truck Series playoffs. The 10 drivers that I have making the Truck Series playoffs are John Hunter Nemechek, Sheldon Creed, Austin Hill, Zane Smith, Tyler Ankrum, Todd Gilliland, Matt Crafton, Grant Enfinger, Ben Rhodes, and Chandler Smith. As for my championship 4, I have John Hunter Nemechek, Sheldon Creed, Zane Smith, and Austin Hill in the championship 4, and I predict that the 2021 NASCAR Camping World Truck Series champion will be John Hunter Nemechek. There's going to be a lot of pressure on John Hunter Nemechek. He decided to make the move from the Cup Series to go back down to the Truck Series, and he has some really good equipment on him. So honestly, it's championship 4 or bust for John Hunter Nemechek. A lot's on the line for him this season. Now, as for Hailie Deegan, I think she's going to put together some good results, and she'll be on the outside looking in. Let's face it, the Truck Series is going to be a bloodbath once again this year. If Deegan does not win at all this coming season, I feel confident she'll win a race in 2022. Prediction number 11, and this involves car number 11, but in the Xfinity Series. Justin Haley will get a win on a non-super speedway track, so I predict that he will win at a track that is not Daytona or Talladega. Prediction number 12, the Xfinity Series playoffs. The 12 drivers I have making the Xfinity Series playoffs are Michael Annett, Myatt Snyder, Justin Allgaier, Noah Gragson, Jeb Burton, Justin Haley, AJ Allmendinger, Daniel Hemrick, Brandon Jones, Harrison Burton, Austin Cindric, and Ryan Sieg. And my championship 4 are the following: Austin Cindric, AJ Allmendinger, Harrison Burton, and Daniel Hemrick. And I predict that the 2021 NASCAR Xfinity Series champion will be Austin Cindric. I think he will be the next driver. The last driver to do, of course, was Tyler Reddick, to go back-to-back in Xfinity championships. Of course, we already know he's moving up to the Cup Series full-time in 2022. Speaking of prediction number 13, that's going to be my next 2022 silly season prediction. I predict Noah Gragson does move up to Cup in 2022. The problem is, I really don't know where. He could wind up at Hendrick if one of the drivers don't perform well, but if not, and if Kurt Busch ends up retiring, maybe he goes to the 1. If not, my next option could probably be JTG Daugherty Racing. But I will say, I do feel confident that this time around, I was wrong about my prediction for who replaces Jimmy Johnson last year, but I think Gragson will certainly move up to Cup in 2022. As a matter of fact, with the next-gen car, we might have a really good rookie class in 2022. Prediction number 14. John Hunter Nemechek will win at least 3 races, at least 3, in 2021. Again, as I said earlier, he needs to have a really good season this year. If he wants to get back to the Cup Series, he has to win a lot, and he has to get to the Championship 4. Prediction number 15, we will stay in the Truck Series, and when I mentioned the Truck Series would be a bloodbath this year, I predict that there will be more than 10 winners in the Truck Series. We will have more winners than playoff spots. I'm feeling pretty good about that one.
Are you sure about that?
Prediction number 16, the Cup Series playoffs. Here are my 16 drivers that will make the Cup Series playoffs: Kurt Busch, Brad Keselowski, Austin Dillon, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Busch, Christopher Bell, Matt DiBenedetto, William Byron, Martin Truex Jr., Joey Logano, Chase Briscoe, and Alex Bowman. Those are my 16 drivers that will make the Cup Series playoffs. And my championship 4 are the following: Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, and Alex Bowman. And I predict that the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series champion, and I predicted him last year, I got it wrong, but this time around, I think he'll finally get it. I predict that Denny Hamlin will finally get that championship that he has long awaited for, and he will be the 2021 Cup Series champion. Most likely, I will probably be wrong come November, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. So, final few predictions. Prediction number 17, I predict we will get one last big controversial finish like what we saw at Talladega last fall with the Gen 6 car, either at the Bristol Dirt Race or it'll be the Fall Talladega race once again because it's a playoff race and we've seen quite a few controversies involving that race in the past. Prediction number 18, I see AJ Allmendinger getting at least 3 wins in his full-time run for Kaulig Racing, and yes, as I said earlier, I think he's a threat for a championship this year as well. Prediction number 19 will be my final 2022 silly season prediction. I predict that Sheldon Creed will move up to the Xfinity Series in 2022 for Junior Motorsports. Prediction number 20, I predict that there will be another new track that will be added on the Cup Series schedule for 2022. And my final prediction, and I'm pretty sure a few people have made this prediction as well, but I am on the same boat, and it's this. By the end of the season, or perhaps the championship finale at Phoenix, we will have a full sellout, full capacity crowd for a race. For the first time since last spring's Phoenix race, which was the last race before the pandemic. Now, depending on when everyone can get the vaccine, it looks like that will be the case by late summer, early fall. I think by playoff time, we're going to start seeing normal life again. Dr. Fauci's even said by the fall, we will be able to go to concerts again. Hopefully that's the case. A lot can happen between now and November, but I think it would be rather bittersweet if at the final race of the season, we had a full capacity crowd for a NASCAR race once again, and it would be a terrific send-off for the Gen 6 car. Well, there you have it. 21 predictions on what I think will happen in the 2021 season. So, what do you think? I'd like to hear your predictions down below as well. And of course, when November comes around and the checkered flag falls at Phoenix, I will also do a prediction reaction video for this as well, just like I did for 2020. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm SonicRules831, and as always, I'll see you in the next video. Who knows? Maybe Kentucky gets back on the schedule at some point. Alright, I get it. Reality sucks. Moving on.